How to gather data student by student. To demonstrate how to track and store data in individual students, we'll start at the home screen, go to an observation, go down to the bottom and click the Start Observation button. It's going to ask who you are, and now we're in an observation. The first thing in the process is to select the target student that you're going to start your data collection with. I've opened two tools to demonstrate the process. Now remember that I've clicked on Bob's sample, that's a student, and in this case, in the student question type, which is a tool tracking what kinds of questions students ask, Bob asked a procedure level question followed by a low level content question. And then Sally asked a question. I click on Sally, and she asked a clarification question and a second clarification question. Bob then raised his hand again, and he asked a lower level content and a higher level content. Then Mary asked the question. It was a clarification question followed by an unrelated question. James asked a question. You can see the process. I'm clicking on the student and then clicking on the questions that they ask. I can return to a student and add to their totals. Just a simple, easy process going from the student to the data collection. Now here is one thing to be aware of. If I have a timer, such as Bob, I'm tracking Bob's time on task, I can track Bob, timer's running, he's on task, he goes off task talking to his neighbor, he goes back on task. However, if I were to click on another student when running a timer, the first timer stops. And that's because you won't have good data if you try and track timer behavior on two or more individuals. When you're watching a timer data process, you need to click the tool when the behavior changes. And if you're trying to track two at once, you'll have bad data. So in using a timer, you can only do it on one person at a time. But counters can move from student to student. When you're finished with that, you can track and do reports on an individual student, or you can do reports by attribute, and you can disaggregate the data based on these attributes and values. A very, very powerful way of looking at the behavior in the classroom. And that's all there is to it.